Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the history we learn in school isn't quite the whole story? What if equality in America isn't really a done deal, but more like a constant, difficult struggle? There's this compelling book that even suggests the story of our past is actually, well, a battleground.
That's a really provocative way to start, isn't it? It kind of forces you to look again, maybe question some assumptions.
Exactly. And that's just what we're setting out to do today. We're going to dig into Unequal, A Story of America by Eric Dyson and Mark Favreau. We really want to pull out the key insights from this powerful book for you. And just so you know, what you're hearing is a unique two-voice AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM. It's designed to make this kind of book analysis deeper and more dynamic. So our mission today is pretty clear: to really understand how racial inequality isn't just some footnote in American history, but something deeply systematically woven into society itself. We'll look at that persistent history of resistance too, and how important individual stories are in pushing for change and, inspiring future action. And hey, if you want more like this, check out our Mindful Moments on our YouTube channel. It offers AI book analysis to get you thinking, reflecting rationally.
So the core argument Dyson and Favreau make, it's that racial inequality isn't just some unfortunate accident. It's systemic, deeply rooted. You see it affecting, well, pretty much everything: housing, schools, healthcare, the justice system. The book really hammers home that the fight for true equality is definitely ongoing.
Right. It's not history locked away in the past. And they explore some really key themes, don't they?
They absolutely do. There's the persistence of systemic racism, how it changes but doesn't disappear. Then there's the power, the necessity, really, of resistance and activism. They also connect the dots between historical struggles and what's happening right now. And a big one is the need to teach the full story of American history, the uncomfortable parts too, and, crucially, the role of individuals, both famous names and ordinary people, in driving progress.
The way the book is put together is really interesting too. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's quite unique. It's got 20 chapters, and each one focuses on a specific person, historical or contemporary, who really took on racial injustice. So you get figures like Ida B. Wells, with her incredible anti-lynching journalism, Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer fighting for voting rights, but also people active now like Michelle Alexander thinking about mass incarceration, or Stacey Abrams and Nicole Hannah-Jones. Each chapter uses a life story to open up a bigger issue.
And how do they actually build their case? What kind of evidence are they using?
Well, they pull from a lot of places, historical records, definitely, but also really personal accounts, narratives, and they constantly draw parallels to things happening today. So it's not just telling you about inequality, it kind of shows you how it persists, how it feels, and just as importantly, it highlights the impact of activism. They weave the past and present together, so you see these patterns repeating, but also how new generations learn from and build on earlier struggles. It makes history feel very present.
Let's talk about the authors for a second, Eric Dyson and Mark Favreau. What makes them credible voices on this?
Well, Dyson, he's a major figure, a renowned scholar, sociologist, public intellectual. He spent his career studying and talking about race, culture, American society. His background gives the book enormous weight.
Okay. And Mark Favreau?
Favreau's an acclaimed author and editor himself with a real focus on American history and social justice issues. He brings that deep historical grounding and ensures the writing is clear, accessible, but still rigorous. So their combined expertise, rigorous scholarship, but also engaging storytelling, it really builds trust. Plus, the book is packed with source notes showing their homework.
And the timing of this book feels significant too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It came out when there were huge debates raging about teaching history, about critical race theory, all that, plus a real surge in racial justice activism. The authors really lean into this idea of America's unfinished business with democracy. They argue we have to face the uncomfortable truths to get to real equality. So the book feels like a direct intervention in those debates, pushing back against attempts to, sanitize history.
So how does it connect with the reader? You mentioned it's written for young adults.
It is technically aimed at young adults, but honestly, it's written in a way that's incredibly accessible and powerful for any age. They're really skilled at using pathos that appeal to emotion. The storytelling is vivid. It makes historical injustices feel immediate, personal almost. It sparks empathy, a sense of urgency.
So it's not just a depressing account of oppression.
No, not at all. That's the key balance they strike. You definitely feel the weight of the injustice, the heartbreak, but it's constantly interwoven with what they call the home of activism. These powerful stories of courage, resilience. Think of Fannie Lou Hamer refusing to be silenced, or Stacey Abrams' work today. Personalizing it like that makes these huge issues feel graspable, human.
Okay, let's shift to the logic, the logos. How is the argument structured?
It's very deliberate. They organize it partly by theme, partly chronologically, so you can really trace how inequality has evolved and how resistance has evolved alongside it. Each chapter marshals evidence, historical facts, court cases, personal testimonies to back up its points about how racism works and persists. And they're smart about anticipating pushback, like the idea that maybe this is all in the past. They actively show how old inequalities just take new shapes today.
What about the language itself? The style?
It's very clear, very direct, accessible, like we said, but never simplistic or talking down to the reader. The tone is interesting. It's urgent, definitely, but also maintains this thread of hope. It's critical, but believes change is possible. And they use powerful language, like that metaphor you mentioned earlier. The history we learn about in school is a battleground. That really sticks with you.
Yeah, it does. Are there other sort of rhetorical techniques they use effectively?
Oh, yeah. They use rhetorical questions quite a bit, prompting you, the reader, to think more deeply, to question things. They make constant connections, allusions to historical moments, and also contemporary movements like Black Lives Matter, placing the book in that long continuum of struggle. And they're very effective with irony and juxtaposition, contrasting America's stated ideals like equality for all with the harsh realities many have faced. It really highlights the gap and the incredible resilience of Black Americans fighting against that.
So wrapping up the analysis part, what's the overall impact? Its relevance today?
I think its biggest success is making this incredibly complex, often painful history of racial inequality accessible and truly compelling, not just for students, but for anyone. It gives you a framework, a way to understand why things are the way they are, and maybe how to start addressing injustice. That mix of history, biography, analysis, it's genuinely inspiring. It helps you see how individual actions matter, how you might be part of that ongoing story.
Right. And given the ongoing debates about race and history, it feels incredibly relevant now.
Exactly. The way it centers lived experiences, connects past and present, offers tools for understanding. It's a powerful model for how we can talk about and teach social justice. And that final line they use is so potent. The true story of racial inequality and resistance to it is the prologue to our present. It just frames everything.
That really lands. History isn't over. It's the setup for right now. Which brings us to a final thought for you listening. Thinking about this book, how does understanding the full, messy, complex truth of history, the injustice and the resistance, how does that empower you to engage with today? To help shape a more just future, maybe in your own life, your own community, it's something to chew on. And remember, for more analysis like this, check out our Mindful Moments and other podcasts on YouTube and wherever you get your audio.
Yeah, definitely subscribe if you haven't. Share this conversation if you found it valuable. And you can find a link to purchase Unequal, A Story of America, right in our description.
And above all, keep thinking critically.